Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
We're sponsored by Peter Page Hyundai's SUV clearance event. Up to $2,500 off on various models. And speaking of Peter Page Hyundai, they've actually given me one of their new cars for the last couple of weeks.
It's very nice. Which one is it?
It's a Hyundai Palisade, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this car. First things first, it's actually like big. It's massive actually, but my car is tiny, so it's nice to have some room to stretch the legs.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been flashing the intercom feature a little bit. That's been the big hitter of it.
That's the thing, it's so big it has an intercom feature between the front and back seats.
It's pretty fancy. I had one of those big ones a few months ago, and you do feel like a boss driving around in that. Especially compared to our absolute shit cars that we have, you and I.
Absolutely. I mean, and it has a split sunroof. Driving around, opening up the sunroof, I feel like such a bowler. I mean, this is a whip and a half, this Hyundai Palisade. And yesterday I was actually driving it down Unley Road and got compliments from two strangers on how nice this car was.
Oh,
nice whip, Tom.
Thanks. Tom.
Yeah. It was at the bikini car wash.
Yeah. Wow. That just sounds unbelievable, doesn't it?
Well, I'll tell you the story. What happened was I was driving down Unley Road and they'd shut down half the road, right? They'd completely shut off. Turns out, apparently I got told by these strangers that a log had fallen onto the tram lines and all the tram systems were down around that area. Yeah, so all this traffic, everyone's getting redirected. I was stuck in traffic. I mean, I think I sat still at one point for about 10 minutes. Thankfully, I was just blasting fresh and windows down. And that's when these two strangers came up to me. There was these two British guys. And they were like, excuse me.
Hello.
Hello, Governor. And he was like, are you going down to Glenelg to me? And I was like, no, I wasn't. I was going home, and Glenelg's the complete opposite direction. He's like, oh, okay, we were just meant to be on the tram. We were hoping we could hitchhike. And I was like, you know what? I am pretty dry on content. Hop on in.
I may get killed by these random hitchhikers, but it could be good content. I may be able to survive and bring it to the radio.
Their British accent was too disarming.
They may take Peter Page's Hyundai off my hands, but it'll be fine.
Yeah.
This will be fine.
Well, they were like, man, this is a sick whip. And I'm like, I know. It's not mine, though. Had to give them the whole story. But yeah, so I ended up driving them down to Glenelg. And I mean, I was already on Unley Road, so I wasn't too far, but it still took about 45 minutes because of this traffic.
Where did they sit in the car? Did they go to the very back? So they want to sit in the front? You're like, whoa.
Check out this intercom system.
Yeah, you need to suss this intercom. You better hop in the back there, boys.
So what, were they nice guys? Or?
Yeah, they were just they just got to Australia a few days ago. One was 23, one was only just turned 18. He just finished high school. And yeah, they just met randomly over here. And I was like, yeah, come on in. I'll drive you to Glenelg. We started because the traffic was so bad, we ended up talking for ages. Bonded, you could even say.
Wow.
Over the Chase Australia. That was a big heavy hitter of conversation.
Excellent.
Did they get the Chase Australia over in England, or are they just watching it here?
The Chase is like England's national treasure.
Really?
That's like their show. Yeah, they love.
Yeah,
apparently,
That chick is on both of them.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're superstars. They're like the Chasers are like rock stars over in England.
That's unbelievable,
right? Imagine the Beast at the nightclub cutting shapes with you.
I'd imagine it, and I'd like it.
Anyway, I dropped these guys off to Glenelg. They're like, can we give you some cash? Anything? I'm like, no, don't be silly.
Just a kiss.
Like, do you want to come into Jetty Bar? We'll buy you a beer. And I was like, oh, geez, tempting, but better not. I had to get home. I was already so late. But it started getting me thinking about all the different hitchhiking stories there could be out there. And we want to open up the phone lines here. What's your hitchhike story?
It is really interesting. I had a mate that was in Europe, and I have talked about it a little bit before, but he said in Albania it is just really common practice to hitchhike. Yeah. It's a bit dodgy elsewhere, but it's actually something they do culturally over there that's really big.
I feel like, over in Europe, hitchhiking's just big, massive.
And he literally just got a hitchhiking, went cross-country with some bloke, and the guy was like, can you just get me a beer for it? So he ended up just buying him a single beer, and that was the exchange for driving from wherever to Greece.
I remember there was a time when I was 17, and I was sort of walking home and decided, you know what, pretty far out. I'll see if I can hitchhike because I didn't have a Metro card on me. So I've got my thumb out, and then eventually someone pulled over. His name was Carlo, and he had like... He was this bloke. He had like biceps the size of my head. He told me he was going to get them checked out because they're too big or something.
Oh,
it sounds like a toss-up.
And I was worried about Carlo.
I was like, hey, mate, you can just drop me off up here, actually.
Please don't strangle my neck like a python with your biceps, sir. I don't want to be killed today.
We're going to go to Moana. We got Sarah on the line. Sarah, good morning to you. What's your hitchhiking story?
Good morning, guys. So mine's from when I was 18. We were at a party, me and my boyfriend at the time. We ended up having a big blue, and I cracked it and left the party, and then realised, shit, what have I done? So someone once told me that if you ever see a police car and you hitchhike to them, they basically have to pick you up and they can't refuse not to take you home.
Yeah, right.
So, luckily enough, I saw a police car, hitchhiked, and they sort of said, are you okay? And I said, no, I've just had a fight with my boyfriend. Can you please just get me home? It was a cold, wintry night, and they took me home.
Yeah,
so,
great.
I mean, a hot tip if you can't afford an Adelaide independent taxi.
Yeah, geez. That's a loophole and
there
a
was
half,
no Uber
Sarah.
back in those days.
Thanks for getting involved. We're going to move over to Sunshine. Sunshine, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Oh, long time no talk, legend.
Yeah.
There
what's up?
she is. Oh, I love this chick's energy.
Hey, Davo.
Hello.
Now, Sunshine, what's your hitchhiking story? What happened?
So I live in Muzabizza, mate, and I was driving down the main road pretty much on a day like this, and I saw these two white snow couple. I'm sure they were wearing clogs even, and I knew they weren't from around here. I actually pulled up, and I'm yobbo as, obviously. So I put my window down and go, g'day, legends, getting a bit wet out there, are you? And they just looked at me like they were freaking out because it was kind of instead of them having their thumbs out, I've just pulled up and said, get in my car.
Usually it goes the other way.
Yeah, but they did, and they were bloody champions. I mean, they weren't as loud as me, obviously. I just took the show over. And would you have it, I actually went on Chase Australia in 2016. It was
Really?
wicked.
You went on the
go.
chase. You went on the chase.
Yeah, I did, and it's a wicked... That was before, Andrew got in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
But, I was up against the super nerd, and he was really, really cool.
Did you cop it?
Yeah, it was good.
Did you win? Or?
Oh, of course I didn't, mate. Listen to me.
What was Andrew like back then? Andrew O'Keefe.
He was actually very, very charismatic. He was really warm and friendly, and so it was a very good experience.
Bloody hell,
Really cool.
Sunshine, we've missed you. Make sure you give us a call soon, eh?
Oh, I will, Dave. I'm withdrawing, mate. I miss you.
Yeah, I miss you.
Good on you,
I went to a wine
Sunshine.
cake party too. That was wicked. Good party.
Good
Loved
stuff.
it.
Hey, thanks for getting involved as always, Sunshine. Appreciate it.
You guys rock.
Cheers.
No worries, guys. See ya. Bye.
Cheers. See ya. Hey, let's go to Caitlin. Let's wrap things up in Salisbury. What's your hitchhiking story?
So I was 17 and extremely late for work, and I was in tears. And this lovely mother-daughter couple, like in a car, had turned around and had picked me up and dropped me off to work.
Yeah,
Jeez.
right. What was your job at the time?
I still have it. Almost 5 years strong at Subway.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Sandwich
So-
artiste.
So did you have the thumb stuck out or anything, or did they just see you in the rain?
They just saw this tiny 17-year-old crying and stressing, and they just turned around.
Yeah, did you at least promise them some Subway sandwiches in exchange?
Cookies,
Said, hey, you
maybe.
can come in anytime you want.
I offered to them, I was like, just come in and say, Caitlin, and I'll just happily give you, free everything, because I was so thankful.
Free meatball
Amazing.
sub.
I haven't seen them since, unfortunately.
That's Caitlin flexing her privileges there at Subway.
Yeah.
Her visor hat around her finger, twirling it around.
I wouldn't mind coming and visiting Caitlin for some
Yeah.
Subway later on.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.